Hey, everybody. Outside the NHL playoffs, we've reached the offseason where we know hockey may not fully stop, but we are out of the 4 to 5 day a week hustle, which is nice. Kids are outside playing other sports, they're doing other things, which is awesome. We encourage that. But they're not getting the same reads, the same decisions, the same game speed reps that they get during the season. And that's where most players tend to fall behind because the first thing to slip is not the hands, it's the hockey brain, the decision making, the reaction speed, reading the plays. That's the hardest thing to rebuild once the season starts. That's where we continue to be really impressed with NHL Sense Arena, especially their Dangle Pro stick handling drills. It's not replacing ice time. They definitely deserve the break, but it's making sure your kids stay sharp when they're not on the ice. So they come back ready and honestly a step ahead. Right now, they're offering an off-season pricing for $299 for the year. That's less than $1 a day, and you can get up to 4 profiles, so all your kids can use it. It's got hundreds of drills, training plans, game modes, everything. If you've got a goalie too, like I do at home, May is goalie month. There's gonna be weekly prizes, giveaways, even custom painted masks available. My kid is really excited for that. And as always, you can use the code OKPH to save an extra $25 off your purchase at any time. Head over to nhl.sensorina.com and take a look. You will not regret it. If you want your player coming back confident instead of catching up, this is a smart move, as well as listening to this episode. So let's get you into that right now. Hello, hockey skaters and goalies around the world. Welcome back to another edition of the Ride to the Rink. We got Andrew Alberts here today, played in the NHL for a long time. That's the qualification you kids love. That's what I hear from you. Bring back more NHLers on the show. Well, we did, okay? And it's the spring, summertime when you're listening to this episode, although it's going to be applicable all season, kids, if you're listening to this in the winter. And what we're talking about is training, specifically in the off season. What to do, what not to do, should you do it? And kids, I know when you get to the offseason, there's a lot of different things going on. Some of you might not want to be near the rink. Some of you might be told you have to do all this. You do spring hockey, summer hockey. There's a lot of decisions to make in the offseason. So where we're going to start with Albie today is this. No matter where you're at in this journey, it's important to kind of know where you want to go. So I'm going to have Albie talk a little bit about goal setting and the process of goal setting and why that's actually probably the place you need to start. Go ahead,
Yes.
Albie.
Yeah. And the beauty is it refers to it's applicable to any age group, right? And so if you don't know where you're going, you really don't know how you're going to get there. And so I might have stole that quote from you, Lee.
That's
Sorry.
it. No, it's a great quote. How do you know where you're going if you don't know where you're going? Right?
There's somebody famous said it. I don't know who. I sound smart, right?
Yeah.
But to all those listening, like it's very important for your summer training, no matter what age you are. You have to have a direction in which you're headed. Call it a young career, if you will, or call it a planning for the future, if you will. So a key aspect of this is to have a goal and not just have a goal mentally, or not just have your player have a goal, but ask them to write it down. Ask them to write it down, and they don't have to explain it to you. It could be theirs, right? It's their idea. They own it. But have them write it down and have them put it somewhere on the fridge or on the door, the mudroom door, whatever it might be, where they're going to see it every day, and it's going to hold them accountable to where they want to go. And so I think with these young players, and when I'm speaking of young players, I'm speaking of my son as well, is that I think taking small steps in the direction of where they want to go is going to be a big boost, and you're there to support them in ways too. Segment it in ways that it's going to support them mentally, physically, provide them with whatever they need to kind of get up and going towards their goal.
I love, you reminded me of a story now. My father recently, last few years, texted me a picture from my childhood bedroom of my wall next to my bed. So just to give those of you listening, when I would wake up, this is probably the first thing I would see every day. And I remember vaguely writing it, but I was surprised to read it again as an adult. And it just said, basically, if you want to accomplish your goals, you have to give everything mentally, physically, every single day. That's basically what it said. And I had my goals set. And I write a new goals list probably every 5 to 10 years of things that I want to accomplish, still to this day. All right. Playing in the NHL has come and gone. That's okay. I have other goals that I want to accomplish now too. But kids, I woke up to that every single day. We talked in our big episode too. Albie's talked about too, about our co-host Haley Scamora, how she would write, I am a gold medalist. I am a Walter Cup champion. These things are happening. So kids, the big takeaway is write out what you want to accomplish and dream big. Dream as big as you want. All right. And then you got to write out the steps to accomplish that goal. We talked about this too. I want you to dream big. I would be wrong for me not to tell you this too. There's no guarantees that you're going to accomplish the goal that you're pursuing, but that's why it's worth pursuing. All right. Nothing hard was ever easily won or gotten, or however you want to look at it. You will get so much further in life by trying to accomplish your goals than if you don't. And so much further ahead in accomplishing other things by learning how to do this process, by just writing out your goal and the steps it takes to accomplish this goal. It will put you ahead. And I'm going to say it again, dream as big as you can. Albie, any thoughts on that before I go to the next question?
No, I just think, and as parents, the parent angle is your job is to support their dreams, right? And remember, it should not be your dream. It should be their dream and their idea, and they own it. And your job is simply to support them,
right?
And provide them with whatever, I guess, needs they have to propel themselves towards that goal. So again, we're not doing anything for them.
Right.
Per se, we're just supporting what they need to push for that goal.
Right, because kids, you got to do the work. One of the best things I was told too is in kids, I'll say this to you like this: you have a right to have a dream, right? You have every right to dream. All right. Now, I will tell you this too, and Albie, I'm sure you can talk about this with your own career. You'll have no shortage of people telling you that you can't accomplish that dream, right? No matter what it is. I want to play in the NHL. There's going to be a billion people that say, "Hey, that's never going to happen." And you're going to have to learn how to just kind of ignore that, right? Because, again, any big goal, people are going to think you're insane. All right?
And whether it's somebody telling you no or there's somebody on your tail that's looking to take your spot, that's the way to look at it. If you're a player and you're in the locker room and you're looking across from you, is it going to be you or this guy making the team, right? So somebody's always behind you looking to take your spot. That was great motivation for me in every aspect of my career. And Lee, we talked about being the hardest worker, right? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? There's somebody else out there across the globe somewhere working just as hard as you or harder. So it's just about putting in the effort, putting in the work, putting in the time, and it's going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah, and another quick story for you kids out there. And again, if you're listening to the show, you're probably a kid who's putting the work in. But a great scenario, I remember when I was a kid, there was a young lady that I can't remember the name of the event, but it's the thing with the flags when they throw the flags up in the air. Color guard, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing her after school practicing every day. And I remember a lot of other kids making fun of her for practicing every day. I remember seeing that. And kids, I'm bringing this up because you might be one of those kids every once in a while that you fall into that trap of teasing somebody else who's doing something like this. And she was not very good when she started, but we all saw her practicing and messing up. Again, I was not one of the kids teasing her. I just remember watching this. Long story short, she became the captain of the team by her senior year, and she was one of the most decorated people in color guard that the school ever had. It was simply because she was putting the work in, and she heard people making fun of her. She heard it. She didn't care, or didn't. She didn't care enough to allow it to make her stop. Probably motivate her, to be honest with you. Sometimes I remember when people told me, "Hey, you can't do this," that would make me a little angry. Like, watch me. That was my attitude. Yeah. All right. But I built up that resilience over time. And, Albie, here's another kind of segue here a little bit. We talk sometimes about how belief is actually kind of a skill, and that the separator, I think, as you get better is the athletes that believe in themselves are probably going to do better than the ones who are questioning themselves. Not that there's anything wrong with questioning yourself or, at times you're going to be unconfident. Like, those happen, but it's the process, right? That belief is a huge part of this.
Yeah, belief. And well, here's the thing. It's like, if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you, right? I mean, your parents are always there, right? But sometimes it's to say the phrase, right? Quiet, don't listen to that, kids. But like sometimes, they're little white lies, right? Hey, I believe in you, but is it realistic? I don't know. But guess what? If you think and you feel that you're going to make that happen and you see your goal and you want to achieve that goal, and there's nothing going to stop you, then you have everything you need to proceed, right? And then it comes down to, all right, well, how hard are you going to work? What are you going to sacrifice? That's the biggest thing I think I noticed, like through my career as a young player training in high school. all the way through my career is, what am I going to sacrifice that others aren't doing? Am I going to be in there at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, or am I going to go out and have a couple Frosties with the boys? Like, so making decisions that are going to propel you forward, that and doing things that other people aren't. And that's part of the process, right? Is knowing your process, what you have to do to be better than others. And you speak about the girl in the color guard. Well, guess what? It's extra time, extra practice. We talk about the belief in extra practice and how it shows you that you're getting better, and those results will eventually come out. But it's not just like Rome wasn't built in a day here. It's not, I go shoot 5 pucks and I got a snapshot like McKinnon. No, like, you put in the process to achieve these goals, and you see the rewards as you continue to work. So kind of a long way of saying believe in yourself, but it's true. And I think what you spoke to and the way you described it is exactly right.
Yeah, look, if you're not getting motivated listening to this, I don't know what to tell you. The other thing too is you brought it up too. We use that word sacrifice a lot, Albie. The other word I think we're trying to phase in is you're making a choice, right? You're making a choice. It's not just a sacrifice. You're choosing something different, right? In anything in life, you're going to have to, quote unquote, sacrifice something for something else, right? There's only so much time, but when it's a choice, you can own that choice, yes. Right? And so kids, make that choice. You have to make that choice, kids. It's not your parents, it's not your teammates, it's not your coaches. That comes from within. All right. I'm going to say it again. If you're listening to this show, you're probably one of those kids. Albie, I do want to ask this too, because I'd be remiss. We're talking about off-season training. One of the things you brought up in our big episode that was great is about just the nature of off-season training, and that, finding the things to work on is not limited to just one thing. But for the kid listening going, okay, now I'm super motivated listening to you, Albie. I want to go out and train. Like, now what do I do? What do I work on? I've written my goals out. I want to be an NHL player. Now what? How do you think they should compartmentalize the things they're going to work on?
I think you just said compartmentalize. It's like, all right, well, let's sit down, grab a piece of paper and a pen and sit down and put down, all right, what value do I bring to a team, right? And what are the top 3 things that you do great? And then what are the 3 or 4 or 5 things that you need to work on? And you can also maybe ask your coach or your parent, hey, what do you see that I should work on as well? Because it's a different perspective, right?
Right.
Excuse me. But I think as we touched on, the game is changing, and whatever position you line up as doesn't mean you're playing that position, right? It's become all encompassing. And you look at, just for today's game and the playoffs, watching Colorado last night against Minnesota, is just, both teams have such dynamic defensemen that they're playing all over the ice, right? And causing confusion and causing havoc. And it's really, the NHL has become, and it continues to change into a 5-person offensive zone play with players moving all over the ice. So you need to be a little bit of everything. You need to be physical. You need to be able to move the puck. You need to be able to skate. Obviously, that's a huge foundation. But also chip in on offense if you need to. So whether you're your D number 1 or D number 6, you're chipping in. If you're the first line or the fourth line, you have to be able to play in almost all situations. So having a well-rounded game is kind of, at this age, an easy thing to do compared to when you're older. So put in the time now, refining all aspects of your game to make you a better player, as a very wholesome player, if you will, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, I love it. And kids, be excited about that process, right? Like, one of the things that has kind of surprised me as I've gotten older is how excited I am to learn. I think when you're young and you're in school, and school can be a drag sometimes, kids, and you kind of, that's all you've known your whole life is going to school and learning. You start to get this idea of like, like, I gotta learn again. Well, as you get older, you start enjoying that aspect. So here's the truth, kids. You like learning what you like learning about. I didn't love being in math class. I wasn't a fan of math, but someone was going to teach me something about hockey. Well, I loved that. So embrace that feeling as well. I will say math and English and all those things are very important. Continue to learn that. I'm not telling you that school doesn't matter, but I'm saying learn to enjoy learning, because that's a skill. And Albie's talking about it too, like, especially in the off season, what a playground you get to have to learn, where it's not the day-to-day practice game scenario. You can now choose the direction you want to go. And I think that's fantastic. Albie, any final thoughts before we part here?
Summertime unstructured play, and kids be kids. Get to the lake, get to the ocean, enjoy your time with your friends. It doesn't have to be, a strenuous activity of constant direction. If you want to get on the ice, play 3-on-3, go have fun with it. Try new things. Be creative. We need more of that in our game. And you learn from it. You learn from every mistake you make. So just think of any time you hit the ice or you pick up your stick. It's something you can learn in the summertime.
I love it, kids. That's going to do it for the Ride to the Rink, which you should not be on today when you're listening to this, because we're talking about off-ice training. Kids, remember, if you ever have a question or something you want to discuss on the show, you can actually text us. There's a link accompanying the show description. Tap it. You can write us a note, what you think, what you thought. You can send us a voice message if there's something you want us to talk about. Kids, we really do love hearing from you. So let us know. And again, if you don't want it to go on the air, it does not have to go on the air. You can communicate with us on that. And I'll always say, as I say, every Ride to the Rink episode, kids, we believe in you. You should too. Go skate hard, have fun, learn something. We'll see you on the next Ride to the Rink. Take care.